These images from a tragic video shows the last moments of Norma and Liz Ortiz Diaz as they sit atop a moving tractor. In a devastating turn of events, one sister falls off and the other, attempting to assist, falls off as well. Both were tragically crushed by the tractor moments after the video ended. Ladarius Brownlee, a North Texas man popular on TikTok, is charged with allegedly shooting his girlfriend, Sayedeh Zara Hashemi, in the head after a 4th of July celebration. The couple, known as Deno and Zara, with over 150,000 followers, was identified through Brownlee's tattoos. Brownlee confessed during a 911 call and to investigators. After a heated argument, he allegedly ordered Hashemi into his SUV, retrieved a Glock, and shot her. Brownlee was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and deadly conduct for discharging a firearm. Hashemi's current condition is unknown. In December 2013, 58-year-old Denver Lee St. Clair was asphyxiated by an atomic wedgie administered by his stepson during a fight. After he had been knocked unconscious, the elastic band from his torn underwear was pulled over his head and stretched around his neck, strangling him. The stepson, Brad Davis, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Investigators believed that before Davis called the emergency services, he altered the crime scene to make it look like the pair had been brawling. What if you vanished without a trace, only to reappear 18 years later? The horrifying ordeal of J.C. Dugard is a story of unimaginable terror and resilience. In 1991, 11-year-old J.C. Dugard was abducted while walking to her bus stop in South Lake Tahoe. Held captive for 18 years by Philip Garrido and his wife, she endured abuse and gave birth to 2 daughters in captivity. Rescued in 2009, J.C.'s story is a haunting reminder of the human capacity for both cruelty and survival. Beloved actor James Gandolfini, known for his role as Tony Soprano, unexpectedly died in 2013. On a trip to Rome with his son, Gandolfini suffered a fatal heart attack at just 51. The morbid twist? His son found him unresponsive in the bathroom. Despite frantic attempts to revive him, the actor, who had seemed so larger than life, was gone, leaving fans to mourn and remember the chilling sudden loss of a television icon. When Pablo Escobar's daughter wanted a unicorn for her birthday, he bought her a horse and stapled a cone to its head and wings to its back. The horse ended up dying from a horrible infection a few weeks later. In 2023, an experienced hiker died in Death Valley, hours after being asked by a reporter why he was attempting to brave the extreme heat. Steve Curry, age 71, was pronounced dead after collapsing outside of a restroom on the Golden Canyon trailhead in 121 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. Hours earlier, Steve spoke to a Los Angeles Times reporter at Zabriskie Point while, slathered in sunscreen, huddled beneath a metal interpretive sign that afforded a small amount of shade. Curry reportedly refused offers of help, telling the LA Times he was more concerned with keeping pace with younger hikers. Alan Rickman, famed for his chilling roles, passed away in January 2016. The beloved actor's death from pancreatic cancer was swift and secretive. Fans were unaware of his battle until the end. Known for his iconic portrayal of Snape, his passing cast a morbid shadow over his legacy, leaving fans mourning the untimely loss of a cinematic legend. In July 2011, Chantal Lavigne died from hyperthermia during a Dying in Consciousness seminar in Quebec. Participants were wrapped in blankets, plastic, and cardboard boxes for 9 hours without food or water, leading to her death. Organizers Gabrielle Fréchette, Ginette Duclos, and Gerald Fontaine were later arrested and sentenced, but released after 6 months. Surveillance footage from a bank in 2021 captured the moment when Courtney Richmond, 26, pushed 82-year-old Mayra Coutinho Lopez to the ground after a confrontation. The altercation began when Lopez, who had Alzheimer's disease, argued with a bank teller because she had forgotten that she had already withdrawn money 3 days prior. This led to a long queue forming behind her. In May 2024, Richmond received a sentence of 16 months imprisonment, suspended for 21 months. She was also ordered to undergo rehabilitation for between 15 to 25 days and complete 180 hours of unpaid work. On the 9th of August 2024, Voepas Linhas Aéreas Flight 2283, an ATR 72-500, flying a scheduled domestic Brazilian passenger flight from Cascavel to Guarulhos with 58 passengers and 4 crew members on board, crashed in Vinhedo, São Paulo State. The aircraft was flying at an altitude of 17,000 feet prior to stalling and entering a flat spin with a rapid descent. In 2021, California dad Matthew Taylor Coleman offered his 2 young children, 2-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter, with a spear gun in Mexico over fears they had serpent DNA and would become monsters. Matthew Taylor Coleman was apprehended shortly after the children's mother told the police her children were missing. The official records state that Coleman admitted to understanding the wrongness of his actions, but justified them by claiming they were necessary to save the world. In 2023, he was declared unfit to stand trial. However, in June 2024, the prosecution initiated a procedure to compel the Federal Bureau of Prisons to administer involuntary medication to Coleman to restore his competence for trial in the offing case. 6-year-old Timothy Pitson mysteriously disappeared. Timothy's mother, Amy, offed herself in a motel room. She claimed in a note that Timothy was in the care of someone trustworthy, but would never be found. On May 11, 2011, Timothy was dropped off at school in Aurora, Illinois, by his father, James Pitson. His mother, Amy Fry Pitson, picked him up soon after and took him on a 3-day trip to several amusement and water parks. Amy's was later discovered offed in a motel room in Rockford, Illinois, where she had offed herself. This is where the note was found that stated Timothy was safe but would never be found. Timothy would be 19 years old today. Despite extensive searches, he has never been located. 6-year-old Timothy Pitson mysteriously disappeared. Timothy's mother, Amy, offed herself in a motel room. She claimed in a note that Timothy was in the care of someone trustworthy, but would never be found. On May 11, 2011, Timothy was dropped off at school in Aurora, Illinois, by his father, James Pitson. His mother, Amy Fry Pitson, picked him up soon after and took him on a 3-day trip to several amusement and water parks. Amy's was later discovered offed in a motel room in Rockford, Illinois, where she had offed herself. This is where the note was found that stated Timothy was safe but would never be found. Timothy would be 19 years old today. Despite extensive searches, he has never been located. Larry Tesler, also known as the computer scientist behind cut, copy, and paste, has died at the age of 74. Born in 1945 in New York, Tesler studied computer science at Stanford. He began his professional journey with Xerox's Palo Alto Research Center in 1973. During his stint with Xerox, he developed the cut, copy, and paste, a functionality which will go on to become one of the most commonly used features on computers. Terrifying body cam footage captured the harrowing moment when police officer Randall Kirk frantically runs for his life while being shot at by armed gunmen during the Wiambilla shootings. The Wiambilla shootings was a religiously motivated attack that took place on December 12, 2022 in Australia. Constables Matthew Arnold and Rachel McCrow, along with neighbor Alan Dare, were tragically killed at the remote property in Wiambilla by the 3 residents, brothers Gareth and Nathaniel Train, and Gareth's wife, Stacey Train. The perpetrators were later shot and killed by Queensland police. The two surviving constables were Randall Kirk and Keely Bro.